Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. Today we'll be using the Battle Junkie Heishou U branch Heathcliff. Being Heathcliff's current only burn identity, that alone gives him enough reason to be used, and I for one am very grateful that he finally does have a burn identity, considering the fact that burn is my favorite status effect. So what exactly does he do? Simply put, he takes what U Sinclair does and pumps it up to 11. Heathcliff heavily leans into the self-burn aspect of the U branch, and gains a multitude of different benefits the more burn he has on himself. Sinclair could only gain burn by losing a clash with his skill 3 or defense skill, but Heathcliff literally cannot go a turn without gaining more burn. The main benefit to having self-burn is fairly obvious. It's a very consistent way for any identity to lower their own health in order to meet whatever low health conditionals they might have. For Heathcliff, this mostly involves more damage, but he also gains unbreakable coins for his skill 3 to make him the slightest bit more consistent. The second major benefit that Heathcliff has from having self-burn involves his enhanced skill 3, which he very easily gains access to by simply doing damage while his passive is active. It does more damage the more burn he has, but if he has at least 20 burn, he also gains an extra coin in case the damage it already does isn't enough. And perhaps most importantly, once he's finished attacking, it will consume up to 25 burn to heal Heathcliff. That might sound a little counterintuitive considering you want him to be at low health in order for him to deal even more damage. However, because burn is almost impossible to remove once it's applied, it can very easily spiral out of control if you let it, and this serves as a very simple way to ensure that it doesn't happen. And if for some reason you do end up messing up in the worst possible way and let Heathcliff build a max 99 burn stack on himself, it's not that big of a deal because Heathcliff comes with a base kit revive that is automatically active on turn 1. And it will remove all of the burn on himself in exchange for healing him. Yeah, needless to say, I think he's pretty strong. Anyway, to start the run off, we take these starter buffs and find these ego gifts on the first floor of Dregs of the Manor before making it to the boss against the Dead Rabbits boss. Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another Mirror Dungeon solo video. This time with the honestly really powerful Heishou pack U Heathcliff. And this right here is exactly why he's so powerful, because he literally has a built-in revive in his kit that he gets basically for free. Like, I mean, he can just ignore, he's a free revive. What can I say? Like, ignoring everything else about his kit, that alone makes him really strong. It's not enough to help us here though, because, yeah, we need 2 revives to beat this fight. This time it should be much easier since we got one of the dead rabbits not attacking us on the first turn. So yeah, we can clash against the big boss instead. Take less damage, not trigger the revive on turn 1. Very cool. Honestly, I like this identity much better than, you know, U Sinclair. And pretty much the #1 reason why that is because, simply put, he works much better with, you know, their unique ego gift. And a lot of that is just purely because of his stagger bar, right? Because, you know, since it caps his health at 50%, it makes it automatically removes any stagger bar that's above 50%. And Heathcliff's only stagger bar is above 50%, whereas Sinclair's is below 50%. So That alone makes him much better to play because you don't have to deal with him being staggered at all, unlike with Sinclair where you do. We head into Hell's Chicken for the next floor where we find the Charred Disc, the Burn and Rupture Chicken, Finfugality, Ornamental Horseshoe, Polarization, and Extra Skill 3, and the Broken Greatsword before making it to the boss against Papa Bongi.
얌전히 잠들어 있어야 할 놈들까지 눈을 떠버렸나?
You know, another thing that makes me appreciate this identity a lot more than, you know, Sinclair's U identity is the fact that he plays a lot more into the whole self-burn aspect of the chickens, right? It's like for Sinclair, he only gets what, like 10% extra damage or something when he has self-burn. And like he also only ever gains self-burn if he like loses a clash with, I think it's only his skill 3 and counter skill. So it's like he really just ignores the whole self-burn. But Heathcliff, he just entirely leans into it. He leans into it so much so that it's literally just his main gimmick. Like, you can't play him without playing into the self-burn. You want him to gain as much of it as possible. We head into the Nuna Violet for the next floor where we find Tango Marinade, Cigarette Holder, Devil's Share, Dust to Dust, another skill 3, and Sundered Memory before making it to the boss. You know, one of the most interesting things about this identity is his ego synergy, right? Because he definitely has a bit of a, how shall I say, unorthodox synergy with certain egos. I mean, obviously with, you know, AEDD, he's basically got a ton of free health with that, considering, especially in the Mirror Dungeon, where he's effectively locked at below 50% health, right? It gives him an infinite healing whenever he takes damage, because it always gives him charge when he's below 50% health, so that automatically is just really nice synergy right there. But honestly, his most powerful ego, or not necessarily powerful, but his most impactful ego is actually his Holiday, which is definitely interesting because Holiday is not really considered to be that good. At least in my opinion. It's useful, especially for like charge identities and such. But one thing that it also does is that its passive gives Heathcliff even more burn, like self-burn. And that's very important because if you're not double slotting him, I'd honestly say his burn application is a little subpar because his skill 1 only applies 1 burn on himself, his skill 2 applies 4, and then his skill 3 applies 6. Which is like, it's good, but it's not that good when you want him to basically always have what he's at right now, like 30 plus burn. And so it's like, normally I'd say you'd want to double slot him, right? Because if he only has 1 skill slot, his burn application is honestly a little too slow for my liking. However, if you have Holiday and you just use it once, right, then it gives him an extra, like, 2 burn potency on himself every time he uses one of those skills, which is very good. It's effective. It effectively serves like he is actually double slotting himself without actually double slotting him. Obviously, because we're in the mirror dungeon, it's like doing that's not actually important. I mean, we literally have no need whatsoever to do it, considering we have so many skill slots just giving us burn. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if at one point we actually managed to get a max burn stack on Heathcliff. I mean, we're already getting there, like 60? That's 2/3 the way to 99. Very close. Honestly, another thing that's really interesting about this identity is the fact that, unlike most other characters that have an enhanced skill 3, sometimes you don't actually want to use Heathcliff's enhanced skill 3. I mean, obviously, whenever you have the chance to, it's better than his regular one, but sometimes you want to just use his regular one, and I'll continue this thought in the next fight. We head into Hatred and Despair for the next floor, where we find the Decamillennial Hearth Flame, the Knight's Blessing, the Fluorescent Lamp, and Emerald Elytra, before making it to the boss against the Knight of Despair. Okay, so, as I was saying, sometimes you want to use Heathcliff's normal skill 3 as opposed to his enhanced skill 3 because, simply put, it does something very unique. Or not necessarily unique, but it does something that the enhanced version cannot do. And that is trigger his self-burn. Because whenever he's above 50% health, which obviously is not relevant in the mirror dungeon because of the Blood Flame Sword ego gift, whenever he's above 50% health and you use his skill 3, it will trigger his self-burn. As long as he rolls heads, that is. But anyways, that's the reason why you'd want to use it over his enhanced skill 3. Because in doing it, right, because his enhanced skill 3 does a lot more damage based off of the amount of health he's lost, as well as the actual burn stack on himself, it's like you want to get those up as much as possible before using his enhanced skill 3. And the quickest and easiest way to do that is by using his regular skill 3. And that brings me to another interesting point about him and it's that he benefits far more from, you know, Lord Honglu's combo attack with the Heishou than I'd say pretty much any of the rest. And you know, it's like, obviously they all benefit from it from at least some extent, because their skill 3s, he forces them to use their skill 3s, and their skill 3s give them their unique status effect, as well as just, you know, it's a skill 3, it's a very strong attack. You want to get as many of them as possible. But because Lord Honglu specifically forces them to use their regular skill 3 and cannot make them use their enhanced skill 3, for Heathcliff, that's actually very beneficial, because it means you can trigger his self-burn without actually, you know, wasting his enhanced skill 3, because Lord Honglu gives him a free skill 3 use. And that's just, you know, that's one more reason to use Lord Honglu in the team with him. You know, as if you didn't already have enough reasons to do that in the first place.
상황이 끝나면 티피리트에게 방금 상황 녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐. 복귀 따위의 힘은 필요하지 않다는 거.
However, with that said, you know, there is one little minor detail that I definitely find to be a little, not necessarily bad, but I guess awkward? It's kind of the wrong word, but it's the closest I can think of at the moment. And it's that, you know, this is Heathcliff's only burn identity, right? And more so than that, he's a way better burn identity than he is a rupture one, because he just doesn't have a whole lot of rupture count. And because of that, you want to use him in a burn team, obviously. But the problem with that is, the only way to actually get his enhanced skill 3 to work is via his passive. Because his passive is the only way to give him the unique status effect that he needs in order to, you know, fuel it, basically. But the biggest issue with it... Yeah, the biggest issue with it is the fact that, you know, his passive takes 5 gluttony skills, right? And burn does not have a lot of gluttony skills. Like, in total, there are 4 identities that have a gluttony skill. And that's including both of the Heishou Yu characters. 5 if you also want to count, you know, Lord Honglu, but point is, like, actually being able to fuel his passive in a burn team is kind of not the easiest thing in the world. You kind of have to use all of the identities that have the gluttony skills if you want to do it effectively. And that's not really a knock against him. It's not a bad thing. It's just like, it exists, right? You know? We head into time-killing time for the next floor, where we find Nebulizer and Lunar Memory before making it to the boss against the Time Ripper. Alright, let's go. We got the level... We got the floor 5 Lunar Memory. How did I manage that? I don't even have, like, half of the starter buffs. And, like, none of them are upgraded. How did I manage to get Lunar Memory this early? It's wild. Usually it comes in around, like, you know, floor 7 at least, you know. Sometimes floor 6 I can make it, but floor 5 with this little, like, resources, that almost never happens. Definitely makes the Time Ripper a pretty trivial fight, at least, especially with, you know, a pure slash identity, considering it completely removes his slash resistance. Also, having an AoE attack there is actually really nice, because one of the things about the Time Ripper that's the most awkward to deal with is definitely his mini robots. And it's simply because they're just not worth clashing against half the time, and then they're just sitting on the field until they destroy themselves. And during that time, they just do a lot of chip damage, basically, especially if they are using their heavy bleed skills. But yeah, being able to just destroy them for free with an AoE attack, pretty nice. But yeah, Lunar Memory destroys the Time Ripper. Lunar Memory destroys a lot of bosses, actually. There's a reason why it's the only tier 5 ego gift in the game.
대성공이야. 다른 신나. 노래 부를까? 승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어. 쨍그랑 부위가 조각났어. 계속해도 돼.
오늘도 정말 멋진 활약이었어.
We head into Nocturnal Sweeping for the next floor, where we find the Pinpoint Logic Circuit, Hair Stride, Broken Revolver, Resolution, Four Leaf Clover, Eclipse of Scarlet Moths, Angel's Cut, and the Unmailed Letter, before making it to the boss against the Sweepers.
얌전히 잠들어 있어야 할 놈들까지.
Alright, Sweepers.
떠버렸나?
Very cool. I love the Sweepers. Easily my favorite faction in the game, even though they're kind of like barely a faction. I really want a Sweeper identity. Please. Please, Project Moon. When we get a rerun event of this, give us some Sweeper identities. That's all I want. Don't give us 20 more Heishou identities, please. I want Sweepers. I'll even take middle identities, just no Heishous, please. Anyway, this fight, just like the Time Ripper, completely free with Lunar Memory. That's the case with like every fight with like incredibly frail enemies. They just die. They just die. Like we can even we can't even get the final coin off our skills. They're just that weak. Nothing else to really say. We can literally win rate this fight, and so we will. Honestly, what do I want in a Sweeper identity? Obviously persistence, right? Persistence and what's that one skill called? I forget what it's called. Trash disposal. That is what those two things are what a Sweeper identity needs. Give them those two things and I'll be happy. I guess the one problem with Sweeper identity is like, how do you distinguish them between each characters? Because they're basically just metal suits filled with liquid, right? So like, how do you distinguish them between each of the sinners, right? It's not really possible, is it? I mean, that's already kind of a bit of a problem with the Heishou identities. You know, that's a big complaint with them that I've seen pop up. But like the Sweepers, they'd be even worse. It's definitely an interesting problem that I don't know if it even can be solved. Maybe that's the one reason we'll never get a Sweeper identity. We head into 4 houses in Greed for the next floor, where we find the Shadow Bamboo Hat, Standard Duty Battery, Illusory Hunt, Phantom Pain, and Death Seeker before making it to the boss. Ooh, here we go. Bit of an actual challenge for once. Bleed damage. Scary when you're at permanently 50% health, but honestly, we have a lot of healing. Mostly just with the phlebotomy pack, so It should be fine. And also we have the revival, the base kit revival, so I'm not too worried here. Honestly, I think the bleed damage is going to trigger the revival. Yeah, it's guaranteed. Good thing we have that. I'd have to play this fight differently otherwise.
일축축빨
Easy. Look at that. Lovely. Can't have a better fight than that. Like, using the full identities kit. Isn't that wonderful?
어떻게 하신 거죠?
Honestly, any identity that has that that revival in their kit is automatically like one of the strongest identities in the game. Because it's such a powerful effect. You know? I could genuinely swing fights. And other identities that have it, you know, like Bandit Hat and Missile. It's like, yeah, they have it, but it's also a lot harder to use considering he needs Pride Resonance to use it. And Heathcliff, you know, he just gets it. He doesn't need to do anything. No setup, no nothing. It's just there.
방금의 공격은 다른 친구에게도 보여줘야겠어요. 분명 교육점이 많을 거예요.
그래, 딱 반쯤
Easy
죽여버려.
fight.
13조 2항에 맞추려면
오늘도
그게
정말
제격이지.
멋진 활약이었어.
We get into Refraction Railway, Line 4, Section 3 for the next floor where we find Imposed Weight, Blue Star Shard, Ardent Flower, and Clear Mirror Calm Water before making it to the boss.
적들이 뭔가 기분이 좋아 보이는 것 같아. 칼은
Here's an
기분이
interesting
나빠.
thought. Do you think we can beat this fight without using egos? Probably with the revive. And an AoE attack. I believe we can do it.
방금 멋졌어.
Oh, we do so much damage right now. And also we take no damage in return. So like, yeah, I don't think we need an ego for this. Definitely not. Like, if we can survive the first turn like that easily, we definitely do not need an ego. This identity is powerful, man. He's very strong.
차포잡이라. 예상한 것보다 움직임이 더 좋구나.
한놈 쪼아먹었다. 다음.
이 정도 상황에 우는 소리하는 나약한 직원은 징계팀.
Now, the real question. Can he clash against egos? Yes. Very easily, in fact.
상관없지만
You know, considering the fact that the Yu Heishous, the Heishous, sorry.
방금 전화는 굉장했다고. 베르게 그 이야기.
Considering the fact that they do a lot of, like, infighting with one another.
염화.
Fighting the Pekatulum should be, like,
칼은 신나.
literally
노래 부를까?
just another Tuesday for this guy, to be honest. Pretty funny to think about.
좋아.
Oh my god, that attack is ridiculously powerful. Being able to stagger the electric sheep with one skill.
그래. 딱 반쯤 죽여봐. 13조 2항에 맞추게.
Hey, what the heck is going on? That was his enhanced skill 3 times in a row. That's not supposed to happen.
정말 멋진 활약이었어.
Something bugged out there. I have no idea what, though. Weird.
세상이 평화로워지는 건 기쁜 거야.
We head into the Sundered Witnessing for the next floor, where we find the Decamillennial Stew Pot, Moon in the Water, Flower in the Mirror, Elterfly's Dream, and Artistic Sense, before making it to the boss.
천길 낭떠러지 위나 다름없다.
Alright,
허나 도착까지도 몇 걸음.
cool.
채워내어야 후회가 남지
Cool,
않겠지.
cool, cool. We are going to die. Because we have no health. Probably. Probably not, because lobotomy pack. Yeah, that probably gives us enough health.
개체에게 큰 피해를 준 것 같아.
Easily gives us enough health.
완벽한 공격이었어.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. Close.
앞날에
Close to
그림자가
triggering
그리웠으니
the revive.
그에게는 다소
Good thing we didn't. We kind of need it for the next turn, probably. Because there is no way we will ever have enough skill slots to be able to survive.
아주 작살을 내놨어.
これがリンバスカンパニーのやり方なんですね。勉強になりました。
That was actually kind of lucky.
リンバスカンパニーのやり方なんですね。
Kind of lucky that we got an extra turn there of just gaining skill slots because yeah, it means one extra thing we can clash against.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지.
승객이 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 그릇 두드려 패. 중지의 안가품이 그저 무력 행사뿐이라고 생각해. 원한을 풀 수
I love it
있다.
when the phase transition gets triggered by eclipse of scarlet moths. It's so jank.
옛날에도 이럴 때가 자주 있었지.
Hilarious.
그래도 도망가는 건 모양빨이야.
완벽한 한 방. 시원한 걸.
At least this fight's not that bad. I was definitely a little on edge when we went into the fight without max health, but I shouldn't have been worried.
있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 웃겨놨지만 저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
We head into the Heartbreaking for the final floor, where we find Thunder Branch and Midwinter Nightmare before making it to the boss against Not Heathcliff.
여러분들
Alright, 1v1.
보이시네요.
Let's trigger the revive. It probably will. Being fatal to envy damage and all that. It should not trigger the revive because phlebotomy pack. Why do I keep forgetting I have that? I don't know.
괴물들이 바깥으로 나가는 순간 직원들의 목숨 하나하나가 대수일 것 같아?
The revive will never be triggered because we have phlebotomy pack. Ah well. Pretty simple fight for the last floor.
첩세와 한놈 쪼아먹었다. 다음.
있는 힘껏 찔러놓고 으깨놨지만 저것들은 언젠가 다시 재생하겠지.
그러게 왜 앞에 튀어나와? 더 죽일 게 안 남아서 홧김에 죽여버렸잖아. 뭐냐? 너희들도 좀 부족했나 보지? 좋아, 다 덤벼!
And that's how I beat 10 floors of Mirror Dungeon 6 hard using only Heishou U branch Heathcliff. Needless to say, he's pretty powerful. Having the innate ability to ignore death once is enough to make him viable in any team, and the fact that he's Heathcliff's only burn identity is just the cherry on top. Anyway, that's it for me. Like and subscribe for more videos like this one. Goodbye.